Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one, Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland! This is for you!
What a satisfying victory tonight at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
The baby blues, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's edition of the Block the Shot to Stop, a Cleveland Cavaliers podcast brought to you by the wonderful people at the Blue Wire Podcast Network. Don't mind me. I'm just tweeting out the live link. I forgot to do that earlier, so forgive me for checking out my phone the first bit of the show. But I'm Tim Daniel with Skylar Webker. We were planning on having Kevin Lynch with us, but he had some personal matters, so we'll hopefully have Kevin back here in the next couple days or so. But Skylar, a nice big W tonight, 124-112 over Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, which, as I mentioned on the show the other day, 126-114. Sorry, I had the dates, the schedule scored mixed up. But as I mentioned the other day, obviously, we know that I have mentioned that Jokic is not my guy. And so, of course, while he did have a triple-double tonight, it was not enough to beat the Cavaliers.
Yeah, an impressive triple-double in the sense of 20 rebounds, 27 points, 11 assists. But you look at his plus minus, he's still a -8 on the game. Though his counting stats are there, the Cavs kind of gave him fits throughout the night.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, the first, it was kind of weird. If you look at the scores by quarter, it almost sort of kind of tells a different story than the game in a sense. And what I mean by that is the first quarter, Cleveland comes out like gangbusters, just guns blazing, just knocking everything down. Karis LeVert looks awesome. We're gonna get to him here in a minute and just how good of a game he had. They're up 10 at the second quarter. Denver kind of does what Denver does. Jokic kind of gets them going, gets everybody rolling, and they're back in the game. And it's close, it's competitive. So going to the half, it's a few point difference. Third quarter, it's still pretty close there for a bit, and then Cleveland pulls away and just starts hitting everything. Sam Merrill has some huge shots. Donovan Mitchell, and of course, doing what Donovan Mitchell does. In the fourth quarter, it was, I know it says 27-24 as far as Denver advantage for the fourth quarter, but that's a little misleading because I thought the Cavs shot quality was significantly better. And obviously that part of that is just kind of taking your foot off the gas pedal because you're up so much with a few minutes to go. A little bit of it is just Denver kind of taking as many shots as they can to get back in the game. But it was not enough, man. So shout out the Cleveland Cavaliers for yet another victory. And also credit Nikola Jokic for now passing Magic Johnson to be third all time in history of triple doubles in the NBA.
That's crazy to me that
Yeah, because he's been in the league 10 years? I know he's got 3 MVPs, he's got a title, but man, like the past Magic Johnson and anything is pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely just has the counting stats for a lot of stuff. And like you said, he's not overly fun to watch, but hey, he's the motor for their team. A player I really like on their team, which was a sneaky kind of pickup whenever they got him, was Aaron Gordon. When they got Aaron Gordon from the Magic for not really much of anything, I thought that was a great pickup for their team, and then they extended him, and he's just like a good piece.
He is, and I mean I've liked him a lot. Obviously, his Orlando days, I thought he was kind of fun. He was in Uncle Drew, there's that. He's got that going for him.
Oh yeah, the Kyrie Irving movie.
Yeah, so there's that. But yeah, I mean I like their team is pretty well put together, starting 5-wise. And then there's that drop off. And you kind of saw it tonight. Really, they played Westbrook 15 minutes. Peyton Watson played 18 minutes. And Julian Strawther played 11 minutes. And that was really it. I mean, Jamal Murray logged 42 minutes tonight. Christian Brown, 39. So they rely heavily on their starters. And I think Mike Malone actually said that the other day. He's like, what do you do when you take Nikola Jokic out? He goes, I pray. So, and that was basically what tonight was. So,
I think Brad Daugherty said it on the podcast. Like, they're a team that really are getting hurt because they're a second apron luxury tax team. And so that really bled out their depth from their championship years.
Yeah, for sure. Well, championship year. Only one.
That year. They only won championship, but I don't know. Their title window, I would say.
Yeah. So let's kind of go through the game, just kind of quarter by quarter. And we'll start in the first, like I said. Guns blazing coming out. And everyone's having big moments. And the biggest thing from that kind of jumped out was Karis LeVert finishing the quarter so well. And then also you kind of just big moment after big moment after big moment for this team. And looks like this is going to be a game that's going to be kind of comfortably lead to a victory. And you're feeling pretty good. And you feel like things are on the right track.
Yeah. Like we said it before we got getting on the air. I was like, oh, I felt so good when we were up by almost by 20 at one point, and feeling like, oh, they were going to coast to an easy win. And then Denver got right back into it. I'm like, oh no, this game flipped real quick.
I was on mute. I apologize, Skylar.
No worries.
Yeah. So there was that. There goes. So I kind of was in the process of putting putting Niners down, so I didn't get to see a whole lot of the first quarter. So I'm kind of keeping it with my phone. I'm just like looking at the Apple app and like, oh, okay. And so that was pretty awesome. And then second quarter is when I kind of catch in when Denver starts going on that run at the end of the second. They cut it to about 2 or 3 points. I get there just as Christian Brown hits the shot and Aaron Gordon's making plays and Michael Porter Jr. is doing stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is about what I expected. And that's fair. You know, Denver's starting 5 will keep them alive. And then we kind of get to, we got a good comment here from Josh. I like that Denver kind of put a scare into him there at the end. Good to get forced to respond to low stakes pressure. I completely agree. That's exactly what this team probably need a little bit more of, is kind of that like middle ground game, because it's been like these wins they've had like the Wizards, or it's been the Celtics and Hawks games where it's like one or the other. So to kind of be in this game where you really kind of have to pull away and make something happen was really, really beneficial to them. I completely agree with that. Going to half, it's a close game. It's under double digits. I'm like, okay, so, you know, I still feel pretty good about the win, but it's going to take a little bit more incentive than I thought it was going to take. And third quarter, it's still pretty close there for a few minutes. And then all of a sudden, the Cavalanche, as you put it, comes into full effect.
Yeah, they were able to pull away like we led in with huge contributions tonight from Karis LeVert. 21 points off the bench. Kind of stepping his foot right back into that. Remember me? You guys talked about me being 6th man of the year?
Yeah. Yeah, he really did. Mobley hitting threes, hit a couple of them. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he did.
He was, I mean, I know we say this every episode, but man, another really good game for him. I know he didn't block shots. As a matter of fact, Skylar, I know you have the box score in front of you, but don't look at it for a second.
Oh, okay.
Who led the Cavs in block shots tonight?
Georges Niang.
Nope.
That was my guess.
Donovan Mitchell.
Really?
Donovan Mitchell had 2, and George had the other one. So there was only 3, to be fair.
Okay.
But you had a 50-50 chance there. But yeah, Mitchell was really good defensively again tonight. Like I said, I've said this for a few games now. I know we will never confuse Donovan Mitchell with the first team all defensive guy, but his effort on the defensive side of the ball has been awesome. And I've been really enjoyed it all. And I'm so happy because his rookie year in Denver, like in Utah, we worked really hard on that. I mean, he was a really like hard-nosed defender. So to see him kind of get back to that has been great. You know, having Jared Allen have Mo behind you doesn't hurt, obviously.
And it's what this team needs. You know, they're always going to get you have 2 undersized guards. Well, Donovan Mitchell's, I think he thrives on like proving people wrong.
Yeah.
Like
the shoe commercial is a real thing.
Yeah. I love that shoe commercial of him dunking over that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think he likes proving people wrong. Like people say he's a bad defender. All right. I'm going to be I'm not great defender, but I'm going to be a NBA level defender.
That's all you need with this team, especially. That's really all you need is for him to kind of beat that guy. So yeah, I completely loved. I really loved that, and just his physicality. I mean, I know him and Murray since the bubble have kind of been linked to each other for these insane bubble games.
Yeah.
So I know he really likes to kind of get those if you get those games against him as well. In the fourth quarter, like I said, I know Denver showed that they scored more points than Cleveland, but it kind of got to the point where at the end of the game, I mean, at one point when Darius Garland hits the dagger three, Mike Malone cuts a timeout with like a minute and a half left, and you're like, this one's over. This is Cavs. They're up. Yeah. So that was awesome. But man, we're now talking about Skylar. Let me just make sure that I have to look at it because it's so pretty to see. 20-3.
I can't wait to see what Miles puts out on X tonight. He always does like post game art. And I can't wait to see what he puts out tonight.
Man. So 20-3 now after this victory. I will say, I know that the Celtics win on Sunday was awesome. And it's probably the most satisfying win of the year so far. This isn't far behind it for me. This is probably second, a very close second. Knowing that you're playing the best player in the world, knowing that you had points in this game where they brought it to you and you had to adjust and make a different game plan a few times. And knowing that you lost your best defender in this team.
But we didn't even get into that yet.
Yeah. And you still found a way. But like the defense was really good again tonight. I mean, Jokic is Jokic. He's just always going to get his. It just is what it is. It's like he's just one of those players. And I understand you can look at Michael Porter Jr. and say 24 points, and I know you can look at all those guys like those nice fancy numbers from their starters. How many shots did those guys take?
So many.
Right. And so tonight, where you see the defense play the way they did, to kind of just have Mitchell and Garland and Mobley do what they did, and LeVert, obviously. Just an awesome, awesome game. Just to me, really, really satisfying win.
Yeah. I think the big portion of this game was with the 3-point shot tonight, though.
Yeah.
Holding Denver to 6 for 24 as a team.
Big.
Huge, especially because if you look at the total field goal numbers, Denver made 46 out of 96 and Cleveland made 47 out of 94. So similar shot numbers. But when you hold them to 6 for 24 and you go 22 for 48, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to make sure I mention real quick before we kind of talk about individual performances. So Josh made this comment that I referred to earlier, Joshua Moore, and we definitely appreciate it. I've gotten to know Josh a little bit through Blue Sky. Josh is writing, and make sure to give him some pub here. He has a book coming out soon about the legacy of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which you can pre-order on Amazon.
Nice.
So Josh, if you could please link, I will post it here on the show if you're still hanging out, because that is my childhood to a T. Actually, the way I introduced myself to Josh was I saw his book and I was talking to him about action figures from growing up with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. None of this Zen, anything after Mighty Morphin, I'm not into. But
I didn't even know they made more than Mighty Morphin.
Buddy. There's like 40 different renditions of the Power Rangers. But there's only one that matters.
Oh, it's absolutely.
Yes. So Josh is writing a book there. I'll make sure that I get a link out to that because it's really cool. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to picking up. So I just want to make sure I gave Josh his flowers for being a nice supporter of the show. And also doesn't root for the Cleveland sports like us. He's a Cincinnati fan on the other side.
Nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
Shout out Ohio.
There was a podcast I listened to a couple years ago. It's like an entrepreneurial podcast. And it was the guy that brought over Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to the States. It was just super interesting how the whole story. So I would definitely recommend it. It's called How I Built This is the podcast. Oh,
cool. Yeah. Cause I know Netflix has the Toys That Made Us.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. Yeah, that's like that show right there is right up my alley. It's wrestling figures.
Yeah, Guy Raz. Yep.
Yeah. Wrestling figures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are all in a season. So definitely right up my alley. So cool. Yeah, I definitely will check that out. Let's get to the game. Believe me, if we want to talk Power Rangers, I'm all for it. You probably
That's
just
another
don't want-
podcast.
Yeah, that's another podcast.
Mighty Morphin Dads. We already got
Mighty
it.
Morphin Dads. That could be some incredible cover art if we get someone on Fiverr to make that for us.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. All right, dude. So let's start with Mitchell. Probably best player tonight. And 11-24 from the floor, whatever. 6 of 10 from 3, 28 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. We mentioned the defensive effort was there. But really, it's another night when they needed someone to kind of take over, he did it. You mentioned earlier. Donovan Mitchell really, Dad's Cavs. Shout out Devin. That's right. I love it. We should get, whenever we do, we're trying to put together a live show in Cleveland at some point, behind the curtain thing here. We should make shirts that have the logo and the say Dad's Talking Cavs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can probably talk to Grace about doing that. She probably would be happy to do it. So Mitchell is kind of at this point now. I feel like this is his I'll show you year.
Oh, right.
I can't play defense. Playing pretty physical defense right now. It's, I can't be an MVP candidate. Right now, you can make the case he's probably a top 10 MVP candidate in the league. It's, you think Jalen Brunson is better than me? What am I doing with my team? Don't get me wrong, the Knicks are having a good year, and they're winning by a lot tonight. But I feel like I'm better than him.
20-3.
Yeah, my team's 20-3. And now the next step is everyone says,
can't win in Cleveland.
Can't win in Cleveland.
Come on. I mean, he had a comment the other night that was like,
love it. Shout out Josh. Yeah, my daughter is gonna be 2, and dude, in January.
That's wild. My kid is 2.5, and he's a little terrorist right now, but he's so much fun.
Crazy.
But yeah, he had a comment the other day. I think it was after the Boston win or something, and just kind of reaffirming like we're in this for a ring. Like we're not. Yeah. The streak was fun, winning's fun, but our eyes are on the end goal here. Yeah,
I really loved when George had that comment that he said 15-0 is not going to be the highlight of our season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Mitchell, he is the proven wrong guy. He will dunk on negativity, like his commercial said. Dude, just the things he does, man. And I know he's not 50, 40, 90 right now, but still putting together just his unbelievable season and the playmaking ability, the physicality on defense, like we said. And he's still doing what we see from him that he's done for years now. I said it a couple weeks ago after I went to that Cavs-Lakers game. He is probably right now, as far as players I've seen live and in person, top 3 most fun to watch.
Oh yeah, he's so fun, especially if he's on like a heater as far as his shooting numbers. Trying to see. I feel like he's got to be leading the league in plus minus. To be honest,
you are a big plus minus guy. I respect.
I love that stat. I think it's the best stat on how a player actually affects a game. I
like it. I appreciate that you have a niche. And I think that's that matters. That really matters. I would imagine he's at least in the top 5 for sure. So while Mitchell does that, while you're looking it up, and we'll circle back. Another Darius Garland game where maybe didn't have the most efficient shooting night, but got the job done. 24-4 was 3 of 10 from 3, which is not great, but you're not going to complain about it. With how well he played 33 minutes tonight. I saw the other day that people were starting to talk about like their early All-Stars, and he was not on a couple of those. And I know it's just opinion, but that opinion is wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. I don't know how you can not say he's maybe sure. If you don't want to give him the starter, sure. I'm definitely giving him the starting position. But to not say he's the top 4 guard in the East right now, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So Josh says, I like plus minus 2. People went too far in the other direction with it and started hating on it. it's useful more often than not. I think that's absolutely fair.
Yeah, and I got him pulled up here. He is actually 14th in the league this year in plus minus.
Giannis is probably one, I assume.
Giannis is no, Mikal Bridges is actually one.
Really?
Yeah, and then
I would not expect that.
Shea Gilchrist-Alexander, and then Franz Wagner.
I can see that. He's been pretty awesome this year.
But 9th on this list is Evan Mobley, which I did not know
right.
he was going to be that high on this list. And then 16th is Jared Allen. 21st is Karis LeVert. 23rd is Georges Niang. So in the top 25 players in the league, the Cavs have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the top 25 players of the league.
And they're 20-3. So those go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just guys positively affecting games to win.
That's right. Yeah, man. And so another Garland game where he gets the job done. He does what you need from him. Absolutely will take that any day of the week. Just been so fun this year. Continues to be better and better. I'm so happy for him, for everything he kind of had to deal with this offseason and all the conversation of maybe they should trade him. I'm guilty. I'm glad I was wrong. But I'm absolutely guilty. I can't deny it. But very happy to be wrong. Very happy with what they've got from him this year. Karis LeVert, like you said. So we talked about this when he came back last Friday. It was kind of gingerly getting back in the swing of things, getting his legs underneath him. I thought he was good in the Boston game, but tonight he was awesome. And 21-6, obviously, but the 3-point shooting, 5 of 6 was humongous. For him, just get his legs back underneath him and getting comfortable again after missing, a handful of games you're really seeing him getting back into rhythm. And I do think that you can make the case that he's probably not the playmaker level 2 Garland and Mitchell, but I don't think he's far off. And to have a wing who can do the things that he does as far as leading your team in assists, like tying your team lead in assists some nights. I mean, Jared Allen, I know only had 8 points, but he had 6 assists tonight too. Pretty fantastic to have there. And obviously in a night where you're getting shots from Jerome and Merrill and George, but they're not doing a whole lot as far as for the game to kind of affect the result offensively. Having Karis go out there and kind of be that flash has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's what this team needs. We talked about it in the early part of the season. He is really the offensive player coming off that bench.
Yeah.
And we talked about needing a guard that can facilitate, and thankfully Ty Jerome can do that.
TJ Maxx.
Yeah, I know he can. He's coming back from his flu game, or not flu game, flu lack of game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's exactly what this team needs. He's on such a good deal for this team. Especially like you see a lot of guys getting paid in way more and doing a lot less.
Yeah, he's been really good, man. He's exactly what this team has needed. So I'm really stoked for him and what a year he's had. Another Michigan Wolverine, and I don't really care about Michigan Wolverine football, but I can get down with some Michigan basketball. And you're seeing these Michigan dudes right now between the Wagners and Karis LeVert doing their thing in the league. So
I love that whenever he does get put into the starting lineup from time to time, they announce like, oh, from Vanderbilt, Darius Garland. They don't say from Michigan for him. Yeah. They say from Columbus.
That's right. That's right. It's so like Derrick Rose. Fun. When Derrick Rose was with the Bulls, he was never from Memphis. He was from Chicago.
Yeah.
I used to love that. Dwayne Wade got it his 1 year at the Bulls, and it just didn't hit the same. So that brings us, of course, to number 4. Ev, 29-4-3 tonight. Stat stuffer. 3 of 5 from 3 tonight, and was second on the starters in plus minus tonight with 16. So Kevin and I talked about this the other day on NBA Weekly in the sense that the two guys in the East who've probably made the biggest jump this year are probably Evan Mobley and Franz Wagner. And those guys have certainly made the legitimate cases to be all-stars this year. I feel like this was another game where he just kind of leveled up in the sense that, yeah, he's had a lot of 20.9 rebound games this year. But, how many 0 for 2, 1 for 2, 2 for 5 3-point games does he have, which are good numbers, 2 for 5. But tonight to go be really comfortable shooting the three, see that Denver's asking you to take the shots and you're hitting and you hit 60% of them, which again, I know he only took 5. He doesn't have a lot of five attempt 3-point games this year, but knowing that he was like, all right, you want me to beat you with this? I'm going to beat you with this was awesome. It was tremendous. And so really happy for him. Just another great game for him as he kind of has this maturation process that I really love to see. And like I said, like I've been on Evan Mobley since high school. I mean, I saw him play in the EYBL and I went, that guy is Kevin Garnett. And that's the thing you always hear, right? And like when he was at USC, I was like, why is this guy at USC? He should be at Duke or Kentucky or
a winning program.
I know he's a West Coast kid. He played at Compton Magic AAU, but just an unreal game for him. And I think what people have always talked about his shortcomings, and I'm probably rambling here, and I'll let you talk obviously at some point. When people bring up the Evan Mobley shortcomings, I think the thing they don't ever point out is he's kind of a one-of-one talent.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, even if it's not the offensive numbers, just the way that he makes the other team play.
Yes.
Because of how he's guarding the ball, because of how quickly he can get, inside the paint and outside the paint to guard shots. There was a play late in the fourth there where he caused a travel just because he closed so quickly to the rim. I forget who had the ball. I think it might have been Porter. But he like caused a travel just the way he moves. It makes the other team, have to. I really can't explain it, and I think that's what one of ones are. Like you can't explain kind of the things that he affects in this game.
For sure. I think that when I look at this process where everyone went into this year of, well, he's got to be better. And I think obviously Kenny Atkinson did a lot of that. I really think that started in the Boston playoff series. I mean, those last 3 games, especially that 5th game, I know they lost the series, but he was unreal. And then the 4th game, the game I was at, 4th quarter, he was awesome. It kind of was like, this is happening now. So to see it carry into the season, where he's really had 1 or 2 offensive games that haven't been, stellar, has been really nice. And I think too, like you said, just how he changes your game plan when he's aggressive and physical has been so nice. So really, really excited for another awesome game. Excited to see him take that next step. I want more 6, 7 3-point shot attempt games. I really do. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I really think that if he feels comfortable to knock those shots down, it's going to help this Cavs offense out even more. And this is a conversation you've heard all offseason. I get it. So I'm not telling you anything you haven't already heard. But if he's actually hitting those shots, changes everything offensively.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's one we've talked about this, like how this team is, I guess, offensive weakness is not having any stretch bigs or really an option for a stretch big. If Evan Mobley can hit, or feel comfortable enough taking 7, 8 threes a game, like that's another wrinkle in this offense that makes it so much more difficult to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. So another nice game for him. Another great Cavs win over a game opponent. They were ready to play, and the Cavs pulled away and made it happen. So this wasn't like playing the Wizards the other night. This was a team that you had to really earn this win. So, and again, man, shout out the defense, perimeter defense specifically. You mentioned already, awesome tonight. So we will take that any day of the week. And so, Skylar, we have 2 games this weekend to look forward to. One, a Saturday afternoon matchup in the other Queen City. We're from Cincinnati, so we don't, So the Cavs will be heading to Charlotte on Saturday to play the 6-15 Cavaliers. 6-15 Hornets, who are going to be without LaMelo Ball It looks like.
Yeah, I
For
saw that.
a little period of time. And as we are recording, are down with a minute to go in their game, 125-99 at the Garden against the Knicks.
Where are they in the league? Let me look at the standings.
They're in the lottery. That's the nicest way I'll put it. But this is a team the Cavs have already played this year. This is a team they beat this year in Cleveland. And you never want to take a team lightly. That's not my point at all. But this is also a team that's pretty beaten up. If you look at tonight, so Miles Bridges they don't have Miles Bridges. They didn't have LaMelo Ball. So this game is kind of, and you see what their offense is right now is with the circumstances they're in. It's just don't let Brandon Miller beat you. And despite his controversy from his college days, I'm a huge fan of him as a basketball player. I think if I were the Hornets, he's the guy I would build around. That's how big of a Brandon Miller fan I am. Yes.
Wow. Not Melo? You're building around Brandon Miller?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that his game is just so dynamic. And I get LaMelo's this incredible passer, but I don't feel like LaMelo is that guy who's like, I'm going to win a title with this guy. So this matchup is like, just kind of go out there, make sure Brandon Miller doesn't beat you, and get out unscathed before you come back on Sunday to play the Heat.
Yeah, I mean that's the best you can hope for is to not run into injuries, especially tonight losing Okoro. Hopefully the knee contusion isn't anything lingering or major. Hopefully precautionary to not go back into the game tonight. So if you can get out from Charlotte and get to Miami with maintaining your full squad, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I know Miami's feeling good after their 90,000 point victory last night over the Lakers. So that was rough.
What's going on?
They're bad. They're just bad.
Mean,
that's all.
I know, but I don't know. LeBron, I don't want to say it, but Father Time's looking like he's rearing his head around.
I was on Cavs Reddit today, and I was cracking up because I was like, oh, I knew it was coming. I knew it the way Cleveland was playing and the way the Lakers were playing. I was like, the conversation's going to start. Sure enough, there were 3 or 4 posts about, should they consider bringing him back? And I was like, yeah, of course, but it's not going to happen.
You always consider bringing LeBron to your team, but they're not going to do it.
Right. I think that realistically, LeBron's getting old. I mean, he just had a couple bad games there. He played really well last night for how bad the team was, and he's still in the top 3 in the league in assists. But I'm never going to count him out.
No, you can't.
Right. But yeah, I think that I would absolutely love it. That's a conversation for another day. And hey, man, after this Miami game, we get another one of these like nice long breaks. We're off till Friday.
Yeah. Well, no, don't we have cup games?
So the
makeups of the cup games.
Yeah. So the first cup edition cup game is Friday night. That Washington game.
Okay.
So yeah,
the next one is that Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, against Brooklyn. So they literally don't play Sunday through Friday.
Wow.
So it's kind of nice when you have stretches like right now where we're every other night and then you have a back-to-back this weekend. So you take it.
Well, especially because our schedule at the end of the month gets a little rougher.
Hey, all those teams that are on the schedule at that point, they've beat already. The Lakers,
that's true.
The Warriors, the Nuggets. I feel better about it. I really do.
I feel good about it. Schedule. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, I feel good about it in the sense of, all right, we've played
Dallas
them.
Is the one they haven't played yet. Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, you can't count teams out, and you still got to play the games that are on your schedule. And those are all playoff looking teams. Denver, Golden State, LA, Dallas. Then you get a breaker with Charlotte, and then Oklahoma City. So I mean, that's going to be a little run right there.
Yeah, it will be. I want to point this out. Josh says it's a testament to how bad the Lakers have handled this that he's still one of their most active players. He should not be doing what he has to do on a nightly basis just for them to compete. 1,000% agree. There is a way you can
Absolutely
effectively
agree.
win with 40-year-old LeBron, and they don't know how to do it. So
Playing him 40 minutes a night is not it.
yeah, absolutely not. But with that being said, is there anything we need to touch on tonight before we get out of here?
Kenny Atkinson had an update on Max Strus, said that there's still not a timetable, but he's been getting some contact in practice. So that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good sign. I wish that there was a timetable, but they're doing all right without him.
Yeah. When he comes back, I don't know. Let's say that let's leave that on the hook line. Let's leave a cliffhanger there for we'll get more updates.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I was doing there. That was the goal.
Just set up the cliff hook.
Yeah,
cliffhanger.
Exactly. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to some new subscribers we picked up tonight. So that's really cool. If you aren't already, please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all the socials. We're on all of them now. And whatever podcast app of choice you're subscribing to, please go ahead and leave us a nice review there as well. On behalf of Skylar Webker, on behalf of Kevin Lynch, this is Tim Daniel. Everyone have a great night. Enjoy another fantastic win. And we'll see you Saturday.
Go Cavs.